Playing?
We fixed it. What?
No, none of those mics were working yesterday.
Recording
Yeah.
in progress.
I don't know what was yesterday.
Okay,
That one's working.
It's working.
we can begin, right?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is a meeting of the Yarmouth Conservation Commission of August 6, 2026. We'll get started right away. The first item on the agenda is a request for certificate of compliance, SE 832331, Land Planning Incorporated for Robert and Lisa Vigneault, 12 Vermont Avenue.
So the COC request is all set. There were some very minor deviations from the order, and I would recommend issuance of the certificate of compliance with ongoing conditions 18, 19, and 20.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we issue the COC with ongoing conditions.
Second. Second by Jack. Oh, you know, I forgot that. Do I have to ask for comments on the COC?
Not for COC.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passed unanimously. We'll move on to the next one, SE 832367, Down Cape Engineering for Ed Stafford, 3 Edrina Road.
This one was similarly all set with minor deviations, though there are just a few things missing from the as-built, Dan, that we would request just be added to the as-built to be submitted, and that was the fire pit and the stairs that were not removed. If you could just add those to the as-built plan. And we would recommend issuance of the COC with ongoing conditions 16 and 17. And just a quick reminder to the homeowner, we saw a tick and mosquito flag acknowledging that not all of those are pesticides. Some of them are other things, but no pesticides are allowed in the 50-foot buffer. So just a reminder to them about that.
Okay, any questions?
Nope.
No.
All set? I have a motion.
Yeah, I move that we issue the COC with ongoing conditions 16 and 17, and a reminder about the pesticide, and then the as-built revisions. Those are just coming later or whatever, right?
Yeah, that would be great if you can, whenever you,
It's kind of wordy.
no problem with
I'll be
that.
happy to add that. I think the stairs are there, but the fire pit isn't, so.
Okay. I was just not sure about the stairs because on the original plan, they showed, or was it just this portion of the stairs that you meant?
To be removed. It was,
Yeah, there was like a staircase over here.
oh, yeah, just that little portion over there remained, yeah.
Oh, just the small portion? Okay. All right, just the fire pit then. That would be great. Thank you.
Second,
Okay.
we need a second. Did we get a second?
We have a motion.
Oh, yeah, I
You
moved.
made the motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're good. We're moving right along here. Okay. Next is a monitoring report, SE 832282. Down Cape Engineering for Anthony Fiola, 1 Malfa Road, permitted bulkhead with proposed start to phase 2 for riprap placement. Dan?
Good evening, members of the commission. Dan Ojala from Down Cape Engineering, helping Anthony Fiola out here. This was one where we kind of saw the writing on the wall that between the ships that go by and so forth, the ferries, that there was going to be some erosion here. And we've suppressed a mark where the wall is exposed. We couldn't put these stones earlier because we would have upset some peat and some fill that was there. But now that it's eroded away, it would be a very opportune time and should be done to install a little stone wall. Brittany wanted us to come in and just let you guys know, to keep everybody apprised, that we'd be proceeding with that work, but we're putting some, 2 to 4 ton armor stones fit in place, dug down to about -3, -4, so they should get well under the sand there. and they'll be just loose fit rock, but fit together, fill any gaps in the larger with 1 to 2 foot stones. And it'll be a place where, you know, so there'll be some wildlife habitat, perhaps, better than a smooth face stone or concrete jetted, grouted. So just a natural stone look. It'll kind of cover up the face of the wall too, so it won't look so artificial. So it was all approved on the original order, but it's been a little while now. So I believe my understanding was that you wanted us to come in just so before Beacon Marine starts it, just so you can understand what's going on, and if you have any comments, we'd be glad to address them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Comments or questions?
I just had a random one. It's just because of the picture of, I guess this is the south elevation. Do you have the pictures there?
The pictures that we
That
took at the site,
Dan-
or
It's dated July 24th.
okay, one sec.
Anyways, there's just debris there. I was just wondering where the CMU debris and stuff came from and what that was all about. Dan, it's like here, do you see it here?
Yeah.
When Dan's
Yeah, there's a
photos,
couple of
sorry.
blocks there.
Is that
I'm
all-
not sure, but as you recall, this site was a little bit messy. There was an old busted-up seawall
Okay, I didn't
somewhat
know the
landward of
history
these
of it.
pictures.
Yeah.
And it could have been some remains of that. I mean, there was, I think, back in the day, some junky fill there, so we
Yeah.
can certainly pick those blocks out
Get
of
the
there.
junk out. Yeah, that's all.
I'd be happy to do that, get it cleaned up.
Thank you.
Anything else?
There's a nice picture of the stairs up in the air there where the dirt used to be, but that's all gone now.
I don't have a question on the riprap. I have a question on the mitigation planting.
Yes.
The original plan calls for a 5-foot native plant strip.
Yes. Bunnies had a field day with that, according to Mr. Fiola, but that absolutely needs to be redone. So as part of this work, and Brittany had pointed that out as well, you can see some of them are trying to stay there, but we'll get that grass out of there and redo the 5-foot strip as part of this. That's a reasonable condition.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There was a question also about what are the size of the stones they're gonna go? Are they gonna be an embankment of stones or?
Yeah, so there's a pretty well, a fairly good detailed call out on that. But there'll be 2 to 4 ton armor stones, so good size. And then that's over a smaller bedding stone, and then you take 1 to 2 foot rock and fill the chinks with that. So they'll be fairly good sized stones. You're not gonna move it by hand, that's for sure.
Those are placed from above the wall?
So they go in front of the wall.
I know, but I mean, how do they put them down there?
Well, they'll have to excavate down beneath the grade, and then they rest them up against the,
Okay.
fitting them carefully so they don't, dent or crack the vinyl. The vinyl is pretty tough, but you certainly don't want to roll a big rock right against it hard. But Beacon's good. They built the original wall. They know the drill. So that's how they'll work it. They'll dig it down, get the filter fabric, get some trap rock, and fit the stones in by hand. Nice, neat, irregular, natural look finish.
And they're able to access to do that work from above the wall? No need to go on the beach?
I imagine they would probably need to go on the beach a little bit. I know the last one you did, you let us go, 15 to 20 feet on the seaward side. There's no really any sensitive receptors there, I don't think.
The only reason I ask is
Bats
the
down if we
original,
do that.
the original order does not allow any access onto the beach. And when Beacon contacted me to do a pre-construction meeting, they were worried about that, but the original order says that all work has to be completed from the upland.
Yeah, I think that you could do that, but it would be harder to do that. And I think it would be a lot faster and better if we were able to disturb just a little bit of that beach. We could certainly do a pre-construction survey and put it right back the way it was. Again, it's a beach, people rake the beach, they drive tractors on the beach. There's a lot of things that happen. It's just sand. It used to be that there was some peat there and, I don't know if it's some friends of Salt Marsh or something, but that's simply gone now. Would the commission be objectionable to have a 10-foot strip in front to be able to just work on the open beach and put it back afterwards? I mean, is that?
I mean, there is still peat there, which is why I imagine that the condition was there, and it comes within like 6 feet of the wall. That would
Anybody have any thoughts on that?
This is just for temporary?
it would be temporary disturbance, bringing the machinery down onto the beach surface, which, like he said, we have approved in the past on other beaches, but this beach does have peat on it, which is probably why the original order, where I think probably only Paul was on the commission at that time.
The other thing was that before we were just doing the sheeting, which is kind of easy to do from the uphill side, to usually use a fairly good loader or an excavator with a thumb to place these, and you got to dig down. It's going to be pretty awkward to do that from the high side. I think they could probably leave like a 10-foot track and just work their way out this way. Remember, peat is just old organic matter. I don't think there's anything living. It's not like a salt marsh situation. It's just a little bit of relic from just after the ice age or whatever. Before, it was all buried by many feet of sand, and then it got exposed. So I don't think it's particularly a sensitive receptor, but
I'm also not even sure the commission would be able to relieve you from that condition at this point.
I'm sorry, say again?
It is already in the order of conditions, so you'd have to grant special permission to exempt him from that condition.
Grant the permission for them to go down on the beach? And do-
Yeah.
I wish I'd known that it was a
Oh,
condition.
yeah.
We would have requested it. But it's.
Yeah, just a peat area.
So it says, before this work takes place, a written notification shall be sent to the Conservation Commission to review at a public hearing.
You would-
Yeah, special condition number 12, all work shall be completed from the upland, no heavy construction or vehicles permitted on the intertidal area.
So I also just want to clarify that it's not
No, it's above,
beach, it's a coastal bank that you would be driving on.
No, it's just a beach. That's
It's-
way below the flood elevation.
yeah, so this actually was a landform before they put the wall in, and so the land has all gone away. I know that's
It's a natural, yeah, well, I don't know how natural
this
it
is
is with
the
those
previous-
ferries,
the previous location of the coastal bank before they put this wall in, and it all has since eroded.
Okay.
Let me
but
show
typically
you.
now would call the wall a coastal bank, but, there's always a debate over that because it says a land form, and we sometimes say, well, it's a man form. It's
In
it doesn't-
2021.
Natural.
I'm
So that's the
just-
old one, yeah.
I'm just concerned on how he would be able to work upland on placing the boulders and that kind of thing. I don't know if that's possible.
It would be very difficult, and I would recall that all that concrete stuff was removed from down on the beach, so they had to been down there in the past. So it's kind of it was in there, but I don't know that condition has been historically enforced because we had to get all that rubble off the beach. There's more rubble to get off the beach, and it's just a quick temporary disturbance. Would be happy to survey it and make sure it goes back right where it is, if you'd allow it.
If the resource area is already gone, then I don't have a problem driving on there. There's going to be disturbance from burying the stones anyway. I don't know what we need to do in order to
Yeah,
prove that as a.
I'll probably just have to I'll write it on the pre-construction meeting form,
Yeah.
so that's on the record. I have two quick questions, Dan. Are they going to extend the stairs so that they're functional after.
With your permission, yeah, that would be nice. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
And my other question is about the detail. It says jute mat with beach grass over compatible sand fill above the rocks. Are you doing that?
So, to be clear, that was done prior, and then it eroded away. That was before the wall was gonna be there, so it would be nonsensical to do that now. That was, if you look at the photos just after construction, you'll see there was a nice peat bank there. They didn't really touch it at all, and they just kinda, there was a little bit of a scarp there that they filled with some sand. So that was a note that was prior to the wall. That was anticipating the original conditions, yeah, sort of like that.
Okay, so that was never done.
Well, it washed away if it was done, but as I assume, it's right under the bottom of the picture there, that area was kind of down a little bit and it was filled up and some beach grass was planted. That was my understanding. That was the intent of that, was
Okay.
just to
I've
kinda
been there
fill
every
the-
year. I don't think they did that work.
Okay.
Just want that to be on the record.
All right, what was the date of that photo? 23?
Says July 2023.
All right. See, that's how my plants got trampled. Look at that.
Say it again.
That's how my plants got trampled. Look at that. Look at
Oh
those
yeah,
feet.
they're sitting on the wall. I don't
But
know.
anyway, all right, well, so at that time, it would have made some sense to put some sand and beach grass there. Maybe it didn't need it because the vegetation was thriving, but that was the intent. Once the rocks are there, there's nothing that's going to support vegetation on the
Okay.
seaward
just-
side of that.
Yeah,
so-
the timeline was just unclear on this site plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Getting back to that, whatever we're going to do to void the condition on access, or just make sure that we say that it will be restored to the yeah.
So we're gonna put, they are going to have to go down onto the beach, and then Ellie is suggesting it'll be restored to its original condition.
Yeah, and in fact, why don't we take the sand that comes from the stones and just pile it up a little in front? I mean, I think would be a prudent thing rather than truck it off-site, just kind of, you talked before about renourishing with some sand, and it's already there.
Yeah, in front or on top of
Yeah,
the rocks.
yeah.
As long as it's not, do you know like what the volume would be like? What depth are you going to? Is it going to be too much?
Well, I mean, it won't be anything like what eroded, but it would be, probably a couple cubic yards or a yard per foot. Basically, the volume of the toe stones would be about all that you're talking about.
Okay,
So
that sounds
it's not
good.
that much. I mean, it would be probably about a foot tapering to nothing and 4 feet, something like that. It wouldn't be very much, but I think it would be beneficial to put a little sand there, because then it could help nourish the neighbor on either side.
So we,
Okay.
Truck
So we're
it
at
off.
remove,
So it could
junk.
be no lower than existing.
yeah,
Some
reuse sand on
native
site.
Sand is allowed.
I'll recommend marking the seaward side of the access limit for the pre-construction meeting.
Okay.
Just stake it. You said 10 feet?
We gave him 20 on the last one. I can check with Beacon, but if 15 is reasonable, I think that would probably be fine. They might be able to get away with 10, depending on the size of the machine. To move the bigger toe stones, you've got to get a larger than a mini in there.
Okay.
so we're good with that arrangement?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
If you are.
everybody,
I'm okay with it.
everybody's okay? Is there any comments from anybody in the audience? No comments? Anybody online? Okay. So, do we need a vote on this, though?
I would vote, yeah, I would recommend voting to approve everything we discussed, including kind of voiding special condition 12 and allowing phase 2 to proceed.
Okay, all right.
I'm,
Go ahead.
I can make.
For it.
I move that we approve the initiation of phase 2 with the exception of special condition number 12 and with the conditions as discussed for the pre-construction meeting.
Okay. Second, please.
I'll second.
Charlie, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
All right, appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan.
Now, before we move to the next one, I forgot to pass down some folders. I'm
Okay.
going to do that, and then we'll go from there.
Sorry, I should have reminded you.
Yeah, Bradford, you're his reminder today.
I'm sorry?
I just realized I was the reminder.
There's only one sheet on that one, here, I think. That's Vermont.
Should just be two, because that last one, there's nothing to sign.
Susie for one.
Alrighty.
Nina, this is Malfa. Malfa doesn't have a sheet.
That's correct, yeah, you could just put that one to the side.
All right, check.
Pass it
This
down, Ava.
is Vermont
Yeah, sure, just-
Avenue.
This one, the third one doesn't need a signature.
Okay, so just this. Yep.
Keeping it organized.
Just the top.
Okay.
Okay, the next item is a request for determination of applicability. Dr. Frank Puzio, 122.5 Thatcher Shore Road, proposed vista pruning on town of Yarmouth land and land subject to coastal storm flowage and the buffer zone to a salt marsh.
I'm just gonna bring it up on your map. You can come up to
Anybody would
the
like to come up and make a,
microphone. Yeah, you,
Absolutely.
it's your presentation.
Hi, everyone.
If you could just briefly
name is-
describe, yeah, your proposal.
Frank Puzio, my wife Diane next to me, and Lori and Rich Olson. Also, we share the cost, the two couples, to do the requested vista pruning.
Okay,
Now, of course, this is not a new application. We came before this committee 12 years ago? 14 years ago. And it was a big session. There were scores and scores of neighbors there at the time. And they gave us permission to do what we have done over the last 14 years, was simply giving the hedge in question that's in front of the vista a haircut, so to speak, where we just take the top annual growth off. Can I have one of those copies? And there's no clear cutting that's done whatsoever. There's no tree disturbances or cutting. All debris is removed. The request long ago was that we do this work by an insured bonded arborist. We hire Save a Tree. They're expensive, but they do a good job. And the land is left just as it was, except for the very top of the hedge, which of course obstructs the beautiful vista for all to enjoy. So as again, this is not a new proposal. This was granted to us, but we were informed recently that the new regulations are such that every 3 years that you'd like us to come back and do what we're doing today. Looking to see on my bullet list if I want to mention anything. As I said, no trees removed, just no clear cutting, no disturbance of the understory, as I think you used that term. It remains as is, all debris is removed. We're only taking off the very top, the annual growth. Pretty simple from our perspective.
okay? Anything else?
I mean, we could have filled 20 pages of signatures with approvals from people if we just started. But I think the point has been made that, you know, we didn't have one objection to going down the street, knocking on doors. Oh my, please, here, I'd happily sign this, you know, we love the vista and so forth. And it is enjoyed. If you were to park a vehicle out there and with a camera on it and look at all of the observation that gets on a daily basis from the people that walk the street, walk their dogs, ride their bikes. You know, the police department from Yarmouth just did a whole motorcycle parade up and down Thatcher Shore Road. I think it was called Thatcher Shore Road for a reason, because it had a vista of a shore.
This is the only spot you can see now.
I'm sorry, what?
It's the only spot left you can really see
Oh,
the
yeah,
cars.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I know I mentioned this to the three of the committee members when they did a walk view, and I reiterated that the Thatcher family long ago had in mind to leave that area with views and have it maintained, probably by the town, of course. It was never done by the town. Diane and I have lived there for 40-something years now, and again, over the last long time, we've maintained it ourselves at our cost. And with the Olsons, we've spent $27,600, the two families, in order to keep it. And really, the town should be the one doing the work, not us. But at that last meeting, that last thing that one of the board members said was, Frank, I don't have an objection, and if you're willing to do it yourselves, that's one less thing the town has to do. If you pay attention to the guidelines that we specify, we'll be happy to do it. Now, I know Brittany brought up the fact that things have changed over the years, and you now have the Wetland Protection Act that you have to be aware of. And so whatever rules and regulations apply, we're happy to comply with. But we'd like to maintain the obvious vista that, that has been established from many, many, it's about 75 years that that's been in place. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anyone on the commission, questions, comments? Jack?
Brittany, do you have comments first that you'd want to make?
No, you guys go ahead first.
Oh. Well, in that case, I'm going to open it up.
Great.
Not only, you're talking about the vista, so you're talking about if you will, a hedge,
The hedge.
but it doesn't address the lawn mowing you're doing, which is also town land. And if you look at the rules for open space management for all the town lands, essentially, you're not supposed to carry off anything you can't, like you said, you can't trim the trees, you can't touch them, you have to adhere to your Vista agreement. And, but do you leave all the lawn mowings there?
Maybe 4 times a year, when it gets up to about 8 inches or so, I'll give it a trim. I don't cut it down to a low level like usually.
But you leave it there, the trimmings?
The,
Or do you use a grass catcher?
I have a,
Yeah, it's got a bag.
So they're collected,
I
yeah.
usually leave the debris.
Yeah,
There.
good, okay. But I've been looking at the trail maintenance issues we have, and we don't really have a good description of, because the idea, you can become stewards of which you have really done, become a steward of this area, and I commend your whole neighborhood for that. But if you'd like to do a little more and actually make that, instead of lawn, a meadow area, and I think that it might require a little more agreement than we could reach tonight. And to talk in terms of how you'd be a steward of even more of the marsh. But there's no trails that are visible out into the marsh. Is that true from your?
We don't have a trail.
But I saw that,
I've never ventured out there.
No trails from there, but
There's
up the street.
up the street, yeah.
On the other side of the inlet.
And there's deer trails through the brush.
There's like there's a tiny trail here that just goes in
Oh, I
and
think
that
the
comes
town
out.
put that in when they put those blue boxes out there.
Yeah.
They go through there to
They-
put the
yeah, that's when they
greenhead
put them.
boxes out there.
They weren't always there,
Is that what they're called? Greenhead?
the greenhead boxes, yeah.
and because I did see, there's one little opening in the bushes that look as if somebody does go out there once in a
Never
while
us.
too.
Never us. The town goes through there with,
I wouldn't go in there.
in fact, last year I watched him from our patio
Dread.
drag them in and out of that. That was that area.
I'm sorry, they did what to it?
They
No, the
were,
blue boxes, he
they're-
drags them.
Oh, I see.
he can't carry them physically, so
yeah.
pulls them.
Yeah, those just kind of.
None of that is ventured into in any way by any of us.
Go in there.
I don't know, this is something that I'm bringing up that's new to everybody on the commission essentially. And as far as I know, they haven't dealt with this in an official manner of creating these stewardship positions, but I'd like to try that and see if we could come up with some type of an agreement for a lot of our conservation areas. That, in fact, we do have had agreements with Boy Scouts of America and others for different parts, but we don't have it all collected into one space, so I'm interested in bringing that together. And maybe just doing the vista pruning now, and then maybe if later on we get to a position where we can come back to you and see if there's a chance of expanding what you actually end up doing, including putting maybe a meadow in there instead of the grass.
Have flowers growing in it and so forth.
Well, there are a lot of different kind of mixtures, so maybe,
Native grasses and wildflowers.
Yeah.
More of a meadow than just a grassy area.
I doubt
meadow,
if
yeah.
anyone ever seeded that to make it whatever it is, the
Yeah.
grass. but-
Oh, yeah, it's
That's
just,
40 years
yeah,
that I've lived there.
Okay.
for sure.
I mean, people do enjoy, again, bringing their dogs in there. The school, the nursery school up on 6A, they bring their children down to picnic there twice a year.
oh.
They
Oh.
do. They all hold a rope and they all follow each other down.
A conflict right there.
Unfortunately, it is not a picnic area.
Jack,
It's
anything
a
else?
park.
No,
It's a
that's it.
conservation area, not a park.
Well, because I've been researching the guidelines respective to this, and we protect these areas for their natural resource values, and we also support passive recreation, which does include walking and actually picnicking as well. I have a question. Why are you mowing it? Is it
It always was done.
because it was always done.
myself.
So there wasn't, the natural grass was not preventing you from doing anything.
It was always that way.
Yeah. And I don't know if
Wilsons
that's
have
what's
been there
before
longer
us.
than myself, but
Yeah. Is that what's before us right now?
I'm sorry, Ellie, what?
Is that what's before us right now? Can we talk about the mowing, or
We can talk about the mowing, but it's not included in your proposal.
Yeah.
So there's probably, what I would recommend the commission is, discuss the proposal and then the permissions to actually do the work on the property, because the proposal is just vista pruning.
Okay.
And then the commission, it's your property. So you also have to grant him permission to do it.
Okay.
And the mowing is not included in the proposal currently,
Yeah.
though it does occur, and it is something that I personally would recommend the commission no longer allow in its current form, with the goal ending up, like Jack said, you beat me to it, for either the Conservation Commission and staff and town, or with help from you all, creating an attractive meadow area that does not need to be mowed, or mowed to the frequency where you are doing it, because you are disturbing frequently this area that's meant to be natural and meant to be passive open space. So that would be my vision for this property, is for the town to take responsibility for it, and pursue an improvement which would be within the bounds of what the Conservation Commission would normally do for their conservation areas that they manage, which would be invasive species management and installation of a meadow instead of just vista pruning.
Yeah, I just want to make a statement that continued mowing is not consistent with
Yeah.
the town of Yarmouth's conservation purposes.
Exactly.
Yeah. As far as the vista pruning, in my research, don't panic with me asking this question. I thought it wasn't allowed in a wetland.
It currently is not allowed in a wetland.
Okay. So how did we get here?
So 2012 was 2012. The
Okay,
commission
so-
allowed it. In our current regulations, vista pruning is allowed just in the buffer zone, not in the wetland itself.
Right.
That being said, there are ways to improve the vista at this location. I looked at the plants. It is a huge mix of native and invasive species. If the invasive species were managed, there would be pocket vistas, not like you have it now with a flat top, but you'd have, an improved vista. but in a more managed way. Yeah, a more responsible way that would be consistent with what you would do with other lands that you own.
Which is also typically how we require vistas to be cut in
Yeah.
a more undulating pattern.
Yeah.
Right.
That's,
Which they did propose,
okay,
just not how they were doing it in the past.
okay.
I'm sorry, you have a proposal in the town for?
No,
No,
No, what,
No.
just,
their
if
proposal.
I may, okay. Talking to Brittany, thinking about this thing, knowing a little bit about it in terms of, not living in a neighborhood, but pretty close to it. I've seen this for a long, long time. And I think that what exists is at this particular juncture, is really an opportunity to make this manageable and maintain the integrity and the beauty of the area by adhering to a lot of the regulations that do exist. For example, that mowed area could become a meadow type of an area. It would take some money that potentially could be applied for from tourism funds or conservation funds that we have.
Biodiversity.
I don't think that it's really appropriate in many ways to expect the neighborhood to take care of it in a way when the town has a responsibility to it. The vista pruning also could be managed in such a way that it does adhere to the vista pruning regulations that I think Bradford just referred to, in terms of making it look like a more natural area or maintaining it as a more natural area. I think all of these things together, and Brittany has a wealth of information regarding some of this stuff, would not only make it looks great now, but it could look better. It could be better with, again, that meadow, with the different vista pruning and so on. It still could be accessible to the public like a lot of the conservation areas are. The other thing is that, I say this all the time, so I'll speak for myself. I'm not getting any younger, okay? So the thought of keeping it in a certain kind of a context for the future is very, very important. The good graces of the neighborhood now maintains it in a certain way. Is that always going to exist? We don't know. But what will exist are the regulations having to do with vistas, the regulations having to do with maintain an area of, for example, not mowing as much as maybe we think we should, and that type of thing. So I think that there is something that I talked to Brittany about, that she informed me about the fact that it is town land, that there is one avenue where you go to the select board and you say, can we do things here as private citizens? I think, if I understood, we can approach that in a different way. Is that correct?
I think, yeah, we need confirmation on what's to move forward, depending on what we decide tonight.
So what would be the best way in your mind, and maybe you've already said it, but I didn't hear everything, to approach this at this particular juncture?
What does the applicant think about the town pursuing the meadow and the pruning?
Say that
What do
again.
you think about what we talked about?
I mean, a meadow would be nice, have wildflowers growing there and so forth. And I wouldn't have to mow it,
Yeah.
gasoline and all that, that's fine.
Yeah?
But, yeah, I think people wouldn't go into it as much if they were going to disturb other things, but.
Well, there are other ways, though, to get into the area, into the marshes. I think you've said there are trails, down along Thatcher Shore there that you
Yeah,
can.
but I couldn't get there from there. You can't-
Yeah,
what's the
it would be
expression? You
difficult.
can't get there from here?
But there's also a good reason for that, because, there are some areas that shouldn't be trampled upon, that type of deal. They maintain, the wild animals could do it, but,
Well, down further, across that water, where the water goes, like
Yeah.
going towards Thatcher Street from Flintlock.
Where they were going to do
They
the,
have they have
the
a
little bridge
remember
thing they were going to do?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
past that, there is a walkway that was historic walk, that was one of the other.
Yeah, there's one
historic
over here.
spots
But you-
on Thatcher Shore.
But
That's all
it
grown.
would
Nope,
be
the town doesn't take care of it.
impossible to get to the end of that and walk over to this property. Plus you'd disturb all kinds of things you don't want us to.
And the tide comes
This,
up back.
this
in-
is very simple. It goes, they'll be done in an hour and it's over.
well, one thing to think of, and again, I always rely on Brittany to tell me if I'm off base here. But if there's a certain amount of vista pruning that's done in adherence to the regulations, folks have to get back there to do it. So there would have to be some sort of a path or some sort of an access way to get back where they can do pruning.
Yep.
You know, and, you know, it seems like it's a bit problematic that this hedge is on the wetland, so that would have to be worked out too in terms of what could be touched and what couldn't.
You know, I've
Correct?
never
They
seen
don't-
the salt water coming into that area. There is a wet spot that Brittany pointed out, but that's mainly from after big rains and so forth, not from the tide bringing the water in.
Well, there's scientific ways of determining where that border is, and so that probably has never been done. And so there'd have to be some sort of analysis of that area, I believe, to determine where that delineation is, that type of thing. So I think personally, I think all those things are good, because it's an area that needs to be protected. It's an area that is, as the gentleman said, one of the last vistas out across the marsh, that type of thing. There was the intent of the Thatcher family years ago, of course, that was before the Wetland Protection Act, that we're grateful for. And so, but I think there are certain things that need to be put in place to, in perpetuity, make sure that that always remains a strong area of compliance and of natural beauty.
Yeah, and it would be nice if we didn't have to come back every 3 years to go through the same.
You wouldn't have to do that, because it wouldn't be your responsibility.
And that the town would-
Yeah,
Where's one of these meadows you talk of? What would be a good example of
Yeah,
one?
where could we see
I don't know where.
Well, by next year, Chasebrook
When
Park.
folks come
but
in
not
here,
now.
a lot of times there's plantings along the buffer zone that they refer to as meadows, okay? And typically they'd be wildflowers, they could be other things, but Brittany, maybe you could answer that.
I can pull up a photo, it's just gonna
and we
take a
could
minute.
sprinkle seeds for wildflowers.
I think it has to be,
When trees start growing in
Yeah,
there?
well, that's what I'm thinking, yeah, when the.
it's a little
vines come
different
on,
process. I talked to Brittany a little bit, it's a little bit of a different process, what would have to be done to get it started, okay? There would have to be a process, maybe some folks on the commission know that, but it wouldn't be just a matter of spreading some seeds out. It would be roughed up and so on and so forth. The experts would tell you how to do that.
What was there? What was there?
Years ago, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it was just
Nothing
watch,
sure
just
anyone
what do we mow it?
Gloria
We're just,
Markle took care of that lawn.
You know what I
mowed that
mean?
lawn all the time.
I mean, it was buffer.
Do we have a,
It's been there
It's
for
grass.
75
Just-
years.
All right, Jack?
No, I
we
can't
have an
imagine.
estimation of how far that hedge, if you will, goes back in?
How deep it is?
What do you
know,
mean?
Just something I researched this
Yeah.
morning, and Brittany probably knows more exactly than I do, and yourself, you were down there, Jack. Is that honeysuckle? The majority of that hedge? I have a piece of it right here.
I don't
Yeah,
think
bring
there's
it up.
any.
Well, I looked at all the plants there.
I learned a lot this morning. If it is a more honeysuckle, it's extremely invasive.
Yeah, so there's a lot of invasives, but there's also a lot of native plants there.
Not poison
Um,
ivy, right?
Hybrids, I know, I read that too. And if you do this to it, if there's a brown center to it, it kind of is an indication that it is the more honeysuckle.
This is not honeysuckle, but this is an invasive plant called glossy buckthorn. So they're maybe, but yeah, when I was there, I noted like 12 species just really fast. There's invasive plants, but there's also native plants. You've got high bush blueberries, you've got tons of viburnum species, which are all essential pollinator habitat. And when you continually damage them on the top, they can be susceptible to other diseases and pests. So
The way I see that area, there's none of that, like there's a holly bush there.
yeah, there's some hollies and cedar trees that were
Winds blown from
topped.
my yard and put some of that,
Birds bring it in, yeah.
there's some grasses and things that we didn't plant, but they find their way. And they would be undisturbed, none of that, only the top, which is.
Yeah, so I think the commission is trying to push you away from your current vista pruning application to try and have the town take the responsibility. But if you're still trying to pursue it, the commission can vote at least on the On the wetlands permitting perspective, so for the RDA, issue a DOA of some sort. And we can continue talking about the permissions, but I'm not sure how else.
How quickly would the town be able to come up with a maintenance plan for this? I know you and Joe are pretty.
No, we wouldn't do it. We would have someone else, like we would hire someone to do it. And we would need money. So we'd have to get approval for spending money from the Conservation Fund or seeking money through the Tourism Fund. So not implementing this year, probably spring.
But we could potentially have that in
Potentially.
place for the next season is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
In,
People here
in
that
a,
are gonna pay for
Will
it,
the
and
town
you're gonna
do
have
it?
to hire
If-
somebody.
we have
We can hire
arborists.
who you
Yeah.
were gonna hire. I mean, if you
but the
just drop that
proposed
one
work is different from what we're proposing. I don't know.
Talk to me about this bucket truck. What is that all? How does that?
Save a Tree Company, they have, you know, the
And that does,
And how
that's
do
the
they-
least amount of disturbance.
Okay.
It just comes up
They
over.
They
just
don't go
over
in-
top.
they don't go
just-
in there at
Just
all.
trim the top and they take the debris away and
Okay.
it's over in an hour.
Yeah, it's,
Okay. Because whatever we do, if there's a meadow, we do have to make sure we have access.
Yeah.
Well, I really hate to,
Yeah.
I don't think we can come up with
Solution tonight.
yes. And so, because one approach would be going with the Vista. Another approach would be to go in and get a grant, or if you folks wanted to donate money to a project, to go in and get rid of the invasives and actually have a whole project, which we like to do. So usually, this is a fairly complex mix of things, so it might be a little tougher to apply the idea, but essentially getting rid of the invasives and, like you talked about, digging up some of it, but trying to be very careful you save the native plants, and that could take, either way is going to be a combination of things that could take, I'd say, 3 or 4 years or longer to plan and get money, unless there was, because you're going to have to
You know,
get
and
up a plan, we're going to have to come up with a way of funding it, go through the select board, and so forth, because I don't think we would have enough money in our own funds to do this, unless you think there might be.
I'm not sure until we get a quote, the direction, because if it's over a certain amount of money, you have to put it out,
Yeah.
get quotes and
Yeah.
follow procurement laws. But if it's a small project, it'll be much easier to do.
You know, another thought is to give us permission this year to do it, because it's still it's growing higher every week. And to be more disturbance and more issues. And then, over the course of a year, with conversation, we can come up with the future.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good point.
well, the thing about it is that, if anybody comes before this commission asking, for example, to mow town land along the wetland, you know what the answer would be, okay? And so that's a problem also, because we try to maintain a consistent approach to the application of the Wetland Protection Act and any other town regulations having to do with conservation land. So I think there's a little bit of an emotional element to this, because folks have worked hard to keep it the way it is. But there is the requirement for this commission to follow the regulations and for the preservation of the wetlands and et cetera. And so what I would ask for is patience in terms of transitioning this particular arrangement, so that the commission can look into a few possibilities. It may not cost as much money as you think to, for example, have somebody go in and prepare that area for a meadow kind of an approach. And there may be enough money in the conservation fund and maybe a couple of other funds to do this. I've seen that money used in some ways that are okay. This would be one of the best uses of that money that I've ever seen, okay? It puts a highlight on that area in terms of how it could be proper. Not that it's not being properly done now, it's being done the way you were instructed to do it. But I think there's always changes. There's always things that change. I think that's already been made clear. and we have that responsibility. So, the other thing is, I don't know, if we voted on this tonight in terms of giving permission to do that, I'm not sure what the outcome would be. And then it couldn't happen, so I don't know. So it's an important pivot point as far as I'm concerned. And, so I don't know what to say other than that, I'm sorry.
What's the town motive?
The town is,
Town motive?
what the Conservation Commission is trying to put forward is that they don't support the mowing. The mowing is not supported. It's their land, and they would never mow it on their own volition. It just because it's been mowed since it always has. They don't want to mow it in the future. The commission.
The commission.
You don't want to own that?
It's not consistent with how they manage all of their other properties. They own 1,800 acres of land, and it's just not. They don't mow other properties unless there's established trails. Then you just do the edges of the trails.
Okay, anything else from the commission?
Well, do we want to,
So there's still.
If there's any comments from the audience and also online. Any comments from the audience? If you go to the podium, please identify yourself. Okay.
Hi, Patricia Blackburn, 15 Flintlock. I live next door to the Puzios. I just have one quick question. I heard somebody mention established trails. When it's mowed, it's an established area that we walk every day. And if it's left to go to meadow, I think it'll be tick-ridden, and I don't think we'll be walking there anymore. And we won't have our dogs, and all the neighbors won't have their dogs there. It's a lovely area. These guys have done a great job maintaining it. And as a local resident who appreciates nature, I'd like to see it remain status quo. It is an area where we all regularly walk. Thank you.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Anybody else?
Save your money, save your time, we'll deal with it.
Excuse me, sir. Yes, Mark.
Hi there, Mark Burgess. I've just been listening to the whole presentation, and I appreciate what the private citizens are trying to do, and I also appreciate the town. Looking for middle ground, could I suggest, if you approve the RDA tonight only for the vista pruning, only for this season, and no mow, then they could at least maintain what they have now and take the rest of the season and next season to transition with the town to either hire a consultant, come up with their own proposal that they could get funded or grants or whatever, because the wheels of the town just move too slow to catch up. So that would keep them with sort of what they have now, minus the lawn. And there's a beautiful meadow when it's grown. I don't know if it's been mowed yet or not. High Bank Road over Bass River on the Dennis side, about 100 yards on the right-hand side, just before you get to the four-way intersection, is probably a quarter acre of a beautiful meadow when it's growing.
It's not there anymore.
And they mow it about twice a year. You only mow it twice a year. So that's a good example of, I think, what the town wants. And yeah, you wouldn't be able to walk there. If there's a place to go, you can have a path, but you have to have a destination. So to me, that's middle ground that they can continue to take care of the area until somebody else can. That would be my suggestion. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Paul Grimble, 25 Flintlock Way. I'd like to endorse that and second it. My suggestion, I mean, you've been able to make,
What if you can identify yourself, sir?
so I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Paul Grimble, 25 Flintlock Way.
Sorry.
Zach, everybody get that? We're very tight in Flintlock Way, as you can tell. In all seriousness, that is a fabulous proposal. This is a beneficent act of stewardship. And why you'd want to stop it, I don't quite know. So I would suggest you adopt that. Interim acceptance while the town brings forward a plan for the meadow.
Thank you. I just have a question of Brittany. would the commission be able to bring a plan forward to the town?
Yeah.
For this area, yeah. So it could fall to us to do that. Anyone else in the audience? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, nobody, I don't see anybody. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah,
Kelly?
I do. I appreciate what Mark said. I think in I don't know what word, but I mean, since 2012, you've been doing this vista pruning. I'd be receptive to addressing the vista pruning. It looks like you, in your proposal, you might have just summarized what you received from Save a Tree, and I would suggest if I would like to see a proposal from Save a Tree on the method used. I see that you recited it as best as possible here, but it would be great to get their proposal before us, before we vote on it. I think would be best to see
We
a
wouldn't be doing
professional.
anything different than we've done for the last 14 years.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's just good to get stuff in writing, and if this is acceptable, you know, that could be continued, and then we address the meadow area separately,
What I
being
do-
done by the city or whatever, by the town. I just think we have to look at the vista pruning, but I feel comfortable if I saw the proposal from Save a Tree. That's all I'm trying to say.
Provided them with your
Do we have it?
guidelines.
Okay.
Well, but we're really talking about, I was going to ask if you have any of the original papers from 2012,
We,
actual
We do.
copies,
Well, I have.
other than your
be in
summary.
your
Well, not mine.
packet.
We just had the emails that were going back and forth. Unfortunately, we never really don't have anything else. It's just the old regulations.
Things were not done with the formality, I think, back
Yeah,
in
so I don't-
those days.
I don't have anything in
I know
writing.
The commissioner-
But I found a
remember
confirmation.
the commissioner's name was Carrie Muldoon,
She was the staff. Yeah, she was. And then Ed.
the staff rather than commissioner.
Yeah, she wasn't on the commission, but she was me at that time. But Ed was on the board at that time, and I asked him, and he
what
does
happened
remember.
subsequent to
approving
that
it for a
meeting
year.
that we had, where we were granted verbal approval to proceed, is that I met out there with her, I guess, and with the Save a Tree people, and we reviewed together the proposed, and they gave us the thumbs up, say, okay.
You could do a pre-construction
I have a question
meeting too.
also.
Can we
Yeah, maybe.
require that in an RDA?
We want to hear from the person doing the work, whether it's in writing
I
or
have a
not.
question about that. You have Save a Tree, and I've used Save a Tree, and they do great jobs. But are they wetland professionals? Is that some sort of certification that they have to have?
I don't know if they are,
Okay, all right. Do you happen to know?
or if they have.
I know they're
I
good
mean,
at cutting trees
I
down.
think they have the highest credentials of the type of work that they do on Cape Cod, but
Well,
Yeah, they're certified
Yeah, they're others,
arborists,
too.
but not. I don't know about wetlands experience.
I mean,
They're
we're not
certified arborists, but they're not
going, we're
necessarily
not going into the wetlands.
no, I get
You
that.
you are.
I understand all that.
It is-
The thing is,
okay.
again, I don't want to repeat myself. I think that there are things that need to be adhered to that weren't necessary in the past. I think Mark's proposal is a pretty good one. But as I said, there isn't anybody that can come forward with a proposal to do something on town land where they mow the property. It just doesn't pass this commission for very good reason. We had a couple of situations like that where the people, I think in the goodness of their heart, they wanted to do it, but they had to be told you can't do that, okay? It's just not part of the regulation allows that. This is town property, you know? Neighbors, people have taken it upon themselves just with all goodness of heart to do it. But this is a time of change. It has to be approached, I think, in a different way. And if we need to buy some time in terms of maybe approving a portion of it with other provisos, like it can't be mowed, then that might be a way to buy some time as far as it's concerned.
Like I said before, we have a whole year to come up with a wonderful meadow proposal.
if we could just do it once.
Yeah, but during that time, remember, if something like this happens, it can't be mowed anymore.
Right.
Right, he only does it a couple times.
So it's up to the commission to decide how they would like to proceed. Ellie?
I think we have two issues here, and I think on the first issue, let's not, confuse the mowing with the vista pruning. The vista pruning is really important, and I applaud you for doing it. You must have a proposal from this company, and I would,
Well, they won't give me a final price until
well,
they do it. It's been around $2,200 a year,
We just-
$2,300 a
yeah,
year.
no, it's not the price, it's just, we need to know that they're sensitive to the wetlands. I don't think they're a wetland certified company.
I trust you will have every confidence if you will.
Yeah.
Could it be that we get permission under the proposal that they have to come
Yeah.
and talk to you about it, what they're going to do, rather than,
They could definitely submit something in writing
Yeah.
for like the proposed work with detail. I'm sure they do that for a lot of the work they do. Maybe he just hasn't given you one because you do the same thing every year, but maybe he could provide us one
I mean,
with some
they've-
details.
They've also been instructed not to just do a flat cut across the top and to follow a natural
Exactly, that would be in there.
to that nature.
Yeah.
So I would motion that we postpone this discussion until the next meeting, where they would have a proposal or a representative from the company to discuss the vista pruning so that we could make a decision that night, and at the same time, discuss the options and the time schedule for the rest of the area, which involves the mowed area. You may need to separate this into two parts. Maybe the vista pruning is continued by them, and then we have the town manage the land. I don't know.
I have a question about that.
I don't think we know.
I'm not sure we can approach it that way.
I don't think RDAs can be continued.
So,
Can't continue
so
our-
if, for example, the
That
applicant
stinks.
decided to withdraw this particular item and come up with another proposal having to do with what we're talking about, would that be a viable avenue to get to something?
Yeah, that would be fine, and we could waive all the fees if
That'd be
you
up
do
to
that,
the
but, yeah, you can't continue an RDA under the Wetlands Protection Act. There's a 21-day deadline.
I think you know what I'm trying to do. I don't want one thing to
but
hold up the
sometimes
other. Yeah.
The rigmarole gets in the way of it
Yeah.
all.
I mean, I think if it sounds like we're mostly comfortable with, as Mark proposed, approving an RDA for the vista pruning, and hopefully you folks can work with the town and we can come up with a plan for moving forward in the future. I think our sticking point is just the mowing, so if you guys are okay with not mowing, can that be a
Maybe a
condition
condition.
of the RDA?
Yeah,
Problem.
that can be a condition.
So I think we
I
can
like the
condition.
meadow idea.
Okay.
The only thing
RDA.
You
in a
could
practicality
specify
way,
1 year.
as one of our neighbors
By
pointed
1
out,
year.
is that they walk their dogs in there every day. And if there are beautiful flowers growing up a foot or so or more, that makes it less likely that they'll be able to use that resource. But I guess that's, you know,
It's our hope that
I'm fine with
wildlife
the, I'm
can
fine
use
with the meadow
resource.
thing, and I like what Mark brought up. I think that's a very practical way of looking at it tonight. Things are still growing, the vista is disappearing every week more, so we're gonna waste this whole year in regard to our being outdoors there,
Sure.
and enjoying it.
So could I have a motion reflecting some of the suggestions that have been made?
So you'd be, yeah,
Is that correct?
you can either, are we voting on the RDA or on permission? Which one do you want to do
On
first?
the RDA or,
Or the general, permission to access and use the land? Let's do the RDA first. So you can either issue a -2 and 3 or a +1, which means they need to file an NOI.
Need to what?
A +1 would be they need to file an NOI, and a -2 and 3 would be, with all your conditions you talked about, is they can, under the Wetlands Protection Act, you could permit the work.
okay, would that cover the mowing issue?
You can condition it to include no mowing,
Negative
since
two?
it's not in the proposal, yeah.
-2, so.
Do you want me to make the
It would be,
motion?
it would be a motion to approve the RDA with a -2, is that?
Just to issue a -2, yeah.
-2, we could explain in a second, it's not a
know what
bad
that
thing.
Just, yeah.
A negative
Not
is a good
bad.
thing.
Negative is a negative is a positive.
Put in there just to confuse everybody, okay? All right.
Yeah.
I,
Oops.
I'm willing to, as I said a little bit ago, that if you do approve the Vista proving, with the caveat that it's not going to go forward until you approve the plan of the
Yeah, I think that would
arborist.
be a
That's
factor.
what we're trying
Yeah.
to do.
In other words,
They're doing a negative too.
Yeah,
I don't
Can
know.
I make the motion?
I think that's
Yeah, go ahead, Bradford.
agreed. yeah.
Bradford, go for it.
I move that we issue a -2 and 3 with special conditions that a maintenance plan be submitted to conservation staff prior to the pre-construction hearing, and that no mowing occur. And
It's only good for 1 year.
good for 1 year. There we go.
Okay, motion's been made, is there a second?
What was the pre-construction meeting consisted of? Of who would be at
Getting-
that? For
It
the-
would be,
With the
It's
contract.
like me and the contractor,
contractor.
yeah.
and they would submit their plan prior to that meeting.
That's a win-win, yeah.
Do you want to
That
second
would be my second. I second that.
Ellie has seconded.
All right, ready, all set with that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The Wetlands Protection Act, and we're saying, in this case, no, it does not with these special conditions. And so it's a negative on the determination, but that's a good thing for you because that means you get your project is approved. It's weird
We're approved.
regulatory phrasing.
For 1 year, should I have the Save a Tree people do a proposal to present
Yes,
to you?
please email me a proposal.
Okay, very good.
And then we'll have to also have them schedule a pre-construction meeting with me before they do the work. Yeah,
I guess a putting green's out of the question.
yeah.
AstroTurf, that's always good.
You're gonna need a notice of intent for that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll also follow up with you because I think the town needs some other forms and perhaps the select board. Yeah, so I will have to follow up with the town administrator and let you know what the next step is.
You don't
For the
want me,
pruning, for the next thing, you mean?
No, for the approval for this, because you're doing work on town property, and the commission has granted you permission, but the select board also has to grant you their permission.
okay.
So I'll follow up with you.
Go to that meeting too?
It depends if it's on the consent agenda or the regular agenda. So I will find out and let you know.
I thought for sure you were going to ask me to mow other parcels of town property before I left.
Do such a good job.
You know the golf
Sorry, we-
course down there?
Send in a
Speaking of
contract
big
proposal.
Yeah.
We're not going to do a second
Thank
vote
you for your
then.
time.
All right, so we'll get that done. It's over to you.
Circular file.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming.
We have to sign something for that.
Yeah, that's a DOA.
Dennis, I want to be on, when I retire soon.
I'm
To do my homework on request for determinations.
There you go, thank you for your help on that one.
Good effort, you guys, good effort. Yeah, I'm sorry.
One, yeah.
I'm sorry, it's so hard to help.
I don't think the dogs really care.
The next item on the agenda is,
Thank you, guys. Would you mind taking your conversation to the hallway? We have other agenda items. Thank you.
thank you.
No, not at all.
Thank you.
is continued notice of intent, SC 832538, Shorefront Consulting to Blue Rock Road Realty Trust, 166 and 172 Blue Rock Road. Proposed bulkhead and stairs reconstruction with new landing in coastal beach, coastal bank, land containing shellfish, riverfront area, and land subject to coastal flowage. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. Can you hear me okay?
Not really, but once they leave.
Could I ask, Mr. Campagna is here behind me. He's last of these three. Could we just take care of him first, and then we'll go back to me? That's,
For this one?
yes, number 2534 for
Fine.
Yep.
14
Okay.
Compass?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
So this will be here, SE 832534, for front consulting for Anthony and Jane Campagna, 14 Compass Drive. Proposed seawall reconstruction, elevation, and relocation of fill and land under the ocean, land containing shellfish, riverfront area, land subject to coastal storm flowage in the buffer zone to a salt marsh, and after the fact filing for a patio and deck in the buffer zone to a salt marsh, and land subject to coastal storm flowage.
I'm not sure why we're here.
You didn't get the planting plan in time last time.
Okay, so that was all supplied. I think you have everything you need. I'm just going to be quiet.
Okay, so you're good,
I'm good.
all right? Anybody have a,
Oh, and the
questions?
site plan wasn't stamped. So last time you were reviewing, this is the final plan with all the revisions that you requested have been made. So this is the one where this seawall is being relocated seaward in one part and landward in the other.
are we good with it? See what the commission has to say?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody, questions, comments?
Nope.
No? Jack?
Nope.
No, I have nothing. Brittany?
I'm all set. Thank you. I would make sure to include DMF conditions and special conditions we spoke about last time, where that the patio be dry laid, annual monitoring reports, the stones that you propose to remove initially to remain in place. And that's it.
So we're good. Okay, so we can vote on, what is it,
I move that,
notice of intent, right? Do I need a motion, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I move that we approve this project with special conditions.
I'll second, and thank you very much for the revisions.
Of course.
Okay. Jack, you all set?
All set.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, well, good. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
hope you enjoyed the previous conversation.
Live discussions here.
All right, we'll see you.
As the,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be the one on the bottom since we.
Thank you, Bradford. Okay, so now we're going to go back to,
Oh, yeah.
wait a second there.
Here you go. What's that?
A lot of work.
I know.
Oh, it seems so simple at the end.
I know. It's like yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Simple last.
Yeah. There's 3 things you could check.
Thank you. Okay.
Good.
What now?
Do you want a pen?
Please?
So you're on your own.
I am. Is there something
Yeah,
I said?
nobody's there to help you. It's not fair.
Welcome to an evening with Shorefront Consulting.
So now we'll go back to SE 832538. I've read it in the record, so if we can proceed.
Yes. Okay, so Mark Burgess with Shorefront Consulting, representing the Fidelis and Stover to the south, 172. So the last time we were here, we had the third-party consultant, we reviewed his report, we talked about the balance of performance standards and regulations and all of that. So I revised the plan. You should have a stamped version and all of that. The revisions that I made to the plan were basically, I definitely in the section moved the bulkhead landward about 3 feet. And I put specific notes in there that regardless of what happens between now and when the bulkhead is built, that bulkhead goes right up against the base of the bank, right as close as possible to the base of the bank. We lowered it a foot. We added a fiber roll on top, as Brittany suggested. And Lynn supplied her famous planting plan and monitoring plan and everything else. So I hope we've addressed everything from the last meeting, and we can move forward.
Okay, comments from the commission, please? Bradford? All set?
Just a picky one. You usually put on your plans that construction access shall be via the access route shown on the plan and directly over the applicant's property. And you usually show that. On this one, I couldn't find it.
Oh, it's supposed to be a dashed line, but
Maybe you do, I couldn't see, you have a lot of, and thank you again for the revisions and the
Sure.
notations and all that stuff that we appreciate.
you're correct. Well, as you might be aware, so the project to the south
Yeah,
was done entirely from the water, with the exception of the stairs.
yeah, that's why I thought you were probably doing it from a barge or something. Okay.
I mean, if I drew a dashed line around the whole thing, it would come down the stairs and to the top of the eroded scarp area where they're gonna fill, and then out into the waterway. And,
No need for machines on the bank when you're doing the stairs, just handwork.
no, that's gotta be handwork. In fact, I don't know who's gonna do this work, but what's coming into play now more are these diamond piers. Are you familiar with those?
Yeah.
Brittany is, are you guys?
Is there another word for them? Is
Very
it-
briefly, they're blocks about this big, and they just rest on the ground. There's no digging. And you pound these pipes about this diameter and about 4 feet long. Yep. And they anchor into the bank. So unlike a sonotube or unlike digging, and they use them for stairs all the time. So I didn't draw it that way, but I think that would be the way to go myself. And that's hand machine, put the post, frame it, you're done. And I wouldn't even care if you used the condition to put diamond piers, but you know, different contractors have different tools and toys, so.
Would that change before it actually, for some reason, with the contractor, you might go back to a different method?
Well, there's one contractor I know that's building a dock and deck for me in Dennis, and they're just using the diamond piers because it's the better way to go. So you could put a condition to say diamond piers could be used at the applicant's option, if you want, or we would just tell you at the pre-construction meeting. But it's a less invasive technique, so I don't see why it wouldn't be okay. But yeah, at any rate, sorry, land the plane. No equipment on the bank other than hand tools and people to string line and frame. Correct.
Thank you.
Anything else? Brittany?
I do have a couple of nitpicks on the plan as well. You still have this fiber roll detail, which I'm unclear what that's for because you have this fiber roll photo and they don't match. So what's going on for the return? What are you doing there?
So that's kind of a picture of what it looks like from the surface, and the detail is how it shows how they're anchored.
So there's going to be 3 here.
Yeah, there should be 3 there.
There's 1.
I think there's more under the zigzag that you can't see, but
Oh, you mean on your plan?
on my, yeah, there's 3 rows on the plan. Those are the green lines.
Okay.
Yep, and then
Okay, so what is this for?
it's just to give you an idea of what it's gonna look like when it's done.
Okay, I think I understand because you're putting jute over the fiber rolls,
That's shown I thought that's shown in the detail too.
and also your detail still says you're planting with beach grass, which we're not. If we could get rid of that. I think there was a miscommunication with we didn't receive a monitoring and maintenance plan for the fiber rolls. That's what we were asking because we were looking for you to have including some nourishment to keep the rolls covered, or the roll covered,
The rolls, yeah.
or
I
the one
thought-
at, or the one at the top.
I read Lynn's plan briefly, but I forgot whether in there, whether she included to do that or not.
Oh. Plant fiber rolls.
Yeah, those are the ones that the Salt Meadow Cleargrass and Stud Primo, those are the ones for the returns, for the return on the north, because that's down by the water.
Okay.
Yeah. Is plantings to be monitored for 3 years with reports submitted, 90% survival, that applies to the plantings, well, applies to all of them, but more so intended for the plantings above the wall, as she's shown there.
So we still are not, just to be clear, you're still not proposing any nourishment to make sure the fiber rolls stay covered?
We can do that. I don't mind nourishing the fiber rolls. That's a very small amount. That's doable.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for. So like the monitoring and maintenance plan to make sure the fiber rolls live their longest life, are maintained, are covered so they're not degraded consistently by UV, something like that.
Can we do that as special conditions?
It's up to
Say
the
that fiber
commission.
roll shall remain covered. You can just say shall remain covered. That way, whenever they're uncovered, you can do what you have to do. You don't say 50% uncovered, because nature just screws with that. So, the goal here is to maintain the fiber rolls. That's in the client's best interest. That's in everybody's best interest. So,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry, what's?
I'd still,
In a motion that we would specify that the fiber roll should remain covered?
Yep.
Okay. Anything
and yeah, with planting
still rather there
reports
be a
according to the plan. I
monitoring
mean,
plan.
monitoring.
yeah.
Yeah, the planting is on the mitigation plan. I mean, the Salt Meadow cordgrass, yeah, so covered with, remain planted, I don't know, just want to make sure it's per the mitigation
Yeah, so I
plan.
mean, the plants are monitored once a year, but the fiber roll array is sensitive, right? I mean, someone should be out there more than once a year monitoring it to make sure it's covered, doesn't need maintenance, and if it needs maintenance, it should be outlined. It's my opinion, obviously. You guys don't need to go with what I say, but that's what I would recommend.
I didn't hear, what are these made of?
These are the core logs, so there's, I think you're proposing high density.
Normally for that area, you'd use high density. If you really, really, really wanted to plant in them, you'd use a low density roll, but they will degrade twice as fast.
But you are planting with them.
Huh?
You are planting in them.
The rolls on the return at the base,
Yeah, you're proposing to plant Spartina in them.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But you can do it with high density. It's just harder to do.
Yeah, it's just difficult.
And still plant.
And still plant, yeah.
Okay.
It's the same as what they did for the north,
Yeah.
the return to the north, and I don't think the north return was maintained at all since it's been put in. And
That's the, yeah,
been-
that's the point of the monitoring and maintenance plan.
Agreed. I walked on top of those, and those were high density. They're now pretty squishy. That's a scientific term. But they could very well, we're not going to need them anymore, but when they get really squishy like that, they actually could be replanted much easier. So yes, we want to maintain the fiber rolls. The fiber rolls shall be maintained. They shall remain covered, and plants, I don't know that you're going to get somebody down there more than once a year. It just depends on the time of year too. So I'm okay with once a year, and you just replant as it goes. Now, time of year is considered, spring is usually a good time, I think. You're more a plant person than me, but you can't do it now, it's too hot. And in the fall, if you do them and they get whacked for the winter, they don't have time to get going. So
Are you talking about planting?
yeah.
The
and-
planting? Yeah,
and
there's,
When you go down there to take a look at it, I would look at it every spring, so you have time to fix it while it's still cool, and give it a chance during the summer, so it's hardy for the winter. That's
yeah, as
my-
long as it's, we require monitoring reports to have photos from the growing season. So as long as you're in the growing season, we don't know when, we don't care when you go out to monitor.
Oh, okay. So you don't need the monitoring report at a certain time of year?
It needs to be submitted every fall for the year, but the photos submitted with it need to be from when the plants are growing so that we can see what it looks like when they're in the
Okay.
growing
Well,
season.
either myself or Lynn will probably do that.
So can anybody make a motion out of all of that?
So it's more so about wording the special condition for the maintenance of the fiber roll
Yeah.
than anything else. I feel like Chatham has a really good description in these in their special condition
For
for maintenance of fiber rolls and how it's to be maintained. And
yeah,
cut
we
back
always
and
make
covered.
them submit something so that we don't have to put it in a special condition.
Yeah.
When you would inspect them or something? 'Cause it would-
Yeah.
Well, it's just like specific so that anyone could read it and do it. So like the homeowner can make sure that they either do it themselves or hire someone to do the specific maintenance needed for the fiber roll.
Well, I'm happy to draft something up and email it to Brittany, and she can review it, and then that way she doesn't have to think about it, and if she likes them, she can include them as the special conditions. Happy to help you that way.
Well, it
I
would
don't
then
know.
just be part of the application that we're approving. We wouldn't put it as a special condition. But it's up to the commission what
Ellie?
you prefer.
Well, can't we move to approve this subject to those special conditions and then the correction on the plantings above the fiber rolls? Can't we do that, or did I just do it?
You just did,
What's that? Yeah.
but we're not still clear about what exactly the special condition is for the fiber rolls.
What is typically a special condition?
Special condition would be, one, the fiber rolls have to be maintained. The fiber rolls have to stay covered. If they become uncovered, they have to be recovered, and the plants are maintained really for the life of the fiber rolls.
But the point that was missing is we spent the entire hearing last time talking about the beach and how it needs to be nourished, and the compensatory nourishment for the roll on top of the wall would be providing that sand to the beach, and that's not included. So just keeping the rolls covered, is that good enough? Or should we be adding some amount of sand every couple of years?
Well, you know my thoughts on sand.
What?
I said, you know what my thoughts are on sand, and I just don't think it's a good idea. Enough to keep the fiber rolls covered, that's fine. That's a couple of yards. I'm not worried about that. But any more than that into the system is it's just going to end up where it's not supposed to be, where the town's going to have to pay to take it back.
Should we
create the
propose a
beach.
continuation of this item until such language is developed that describes what,
Until the applicant submits a monitoring and maintenance plan?
pardon?
That's what I would like to see, but the commission has to agree.
Say that
So
more.
I think what Brittany is asking, or Brittany's desire, is that we have a monitoring and maintenance plan specifically for the fiber rolls that determines how much nourishment would be placed annually, so that we don't have to make that special condition. So Mark, if you're willing to develop that and we continue that to the next hearing, or
Either way, am I going to be around? I think I'm here. Well, no, I know. This could be, depending on how the next hearing goes, this would be it with you guys. So
Well,
I could also revise the plan, and I can put the work limit on there, and I can put fiber roll maintenance notes on the plan. I'm happy to do that, and I can get that to you in a couple of days.
I would just say approve it and have Brittany approve the new language.
so if he revises the plan and puts it on the plan, are you comfortable with?
Are we going to include any nourishment or not?
She
I want
wants
to specify a certain amount of yards, but we do want to say that the fiber rolls have to remain covered. And when I say covered, we're only talking about a veneer, because the plants have got to get up through that to be able to grow. So it's not a lot, a yard or two.
When do we reach the tipping point for nourishment? I mean, is it having the fiber rolls covered isn't enough, or
No, it's just that I am not sure. You know, we had that whole peer review, and that's what, you know, he evaluated the erosion rates, and
Yep.
in this scenario, I just feel like we need to be adding. You can see everywhere else on the river where there's a bulkhead, there's no more coastal beach.
I know. So that's a whole separate thing then, other than, I mean, that's separate than the fiber rolls.
It's the same because here we have the roll above the bulkhead, which is now the only sand source to the beach. We're replacing all of the natural sand, putting a wall, and we have this little opportunity.
He has to, so he has to monitor then. It's more, you can't, it's not a subjective decision. It's some kind of professional monitoring then, right?
Yeah, so yeah, that could be an option too. So you're saying instead of deciding the amount of nourishment now, it be monitored and the nourishment be decided as needed to keep the beach elevation.
Do you have somebody that can do that?
Do what?
Monitor any erosion, or I think that's what we're concerned about, losing the beach.
Yeah, well, I'm concerned about putting more sand on the beach because it's not going to end up, it won't end up in that channel. It'll end up,
I know, but
North.
currently it's a
Yeah, we're not-
resource area that,
It's a resource area. We're not worried about the channel.
so,
I know, and we spent a lot of time talking about the balance of, we're allowed to put a bulkhead, but then it affects the beach. Nourishment affects other resource areas that are not part of this, in my opinion. Nourishment negatively affects other resource areas that aren't part of this project. And that's why I'm not, keeping the fiber rolls covered, absolutely no big deal. That's a yard or two whenever nature decides to take it. Somebody can go down there with a wheelbarrow, you know, but ongoing nourishment. Before, Brittany, before you were here, and possibly when Kelly was here, this board was very, very cognizant of beach nourishment projects, and in fact, would deny them in cases where too much nourishment would enter the channel and fill in channels, because then the town has to spend money to maintain channels. So they were very cognizant and very sensitive of that. Just let me show you this. I took a Google Earth. You could probably bring it up on your program clearer than this is.
If you're going to still talk, can you take the microphone with you? Can you take the microphone with you if you're going to
use mine.
chat
You wanna
while
use
you're
them.
roaming?
I'm not trying to be a movie star here. If you can zoom out to where you get the High Bank Bridge and the basin
Bridge.
about there, and pan down a little bit, other way.
You sit down.
Zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, your program is so much better than mine. So this alluvial fan here is the result of the jetting of water through here. Now, when they opened this up, it helped calm this down, but now a lot more water goes through here, and the current is huge. If you've boated through here, it's 6 or 8 knots when the tide is running. So any sand that comes out isn't going to stay here. It's going to get blasted down to where the velocity drops, and it's going to drop out. I've been on this river most of my life, but if you notice lately, no, you're okay. Around here, which year is this picture taken?
This year.
Try going back when it's at low tide. It's easier to. Well, maybe. Maybe.
We're
Well,
looking for.
So the channel here. Yeah, that's where the fiber rolls are. Yeah. The channel right here has been moving closer and closer to this shoreline where the channel markers are. It's really narrow right here. This one doesn't show it, but some might. Yeah. Well, you can see where it's a little bit deeper. So this sediment and this sediment is all changing in here. What happens is when these banks erode, now that sediment is just going to get jetted out and deposited here, and it's going to cause this area to get worse. It's already very shallow here at low tide. I had a 19-foot boat, and it would almost bottom here, but then way north of the Bass River Bridge, this is where this alluvial fan is. Okay, that's supposed to be the channel, and my motor hit at low tide on a 19-foot boat. So you can see that this gets blasted out, and then when you have open area and the velocity drops, the sand drops out. So my point is that you can nourish this beach all you want. It's not going to stay there. It's going to go here or down there and just create a bigger problem somewhere else. So the idea of having the bulkhead lower is that the storms, more severe storms, the bank can still provide a sediment source, and it's high enough and protected where with a baseline of the bulkhead where you can repair it. So that is the balancing act of performance standards and conditions. These are always that way. So I'm against actual nourishment here for that reason. However, keeping the fiber rolls covered is certainly a wise thing to do. And that's not enough to impact the system, I believe.
So Brittany, what is your rationale for providing more sand as far as the way that it moves up and down the river?
For maintaining the coastal beach so that it doesn't erode due to a man-made structure. That's my rationale. I don't want the
But
coastal
that's a
beach.
single point issue, not a system issue.
That's correct, yeah.
And I don't see there is no argument, there is no data on the system, except for the folks that have lived there and seen it, or the people that have dredged.
None has been provided, no.
And I don't see how we could actually make a decision that is really informed unless we depend on people that have lived on that stretch. I would argue that you're a little, the way the sand moves, you said, oh, it goes thrusting out across. No, it goes drifting down by the shoreline or whatever, depending on the storms and the tides and the time of year of the storms and so forth, and we're not there. And so the town is going to be concerned about dredging, that's for sure, but I just don't see how we could make a decision informed, except for based on the inclination of folks that have. There's no other places, or few other places down along that shore that have that sand, right? It's all that kind of beach.
And at the moment, this property and everyone north of it have a beach at some point of a, not necessarily high tide beach, but a low tide beach. They're also not protected properties. Agreed.
So this would, if you put more sand there, it'd maintain it just like those.
Say again?
If you put more sand on the beach, it would just add to the beach type areas north of there.
If it goes north, yeah.
So it does in fact impact and maintain some of the beach along there. And there are, what's the kind of, what shall I say, quahogs, or I don't know what that.
Some shellfish.
Shellfish that are along there, do you know?
Well, we did the shellfish survey. There wasn't, I'm not going to say in abundance, but there was some shellfish there, yeah.
So we're interested in maintaining that.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I would argue that we should probably go ahead and add some sand out there.
Well, if we did, I did look at.
Because you've got that whole area.
Yeah.
That's the beginning point maybe for having sand. If you reduce it, it's going to make it go back up and have fewer lands. So
Yeah, the property to the south had a bulkhead that was functioning, and there wasn't any high tide beach there.
Yeah.
Agreed. I get all that. And Indian lands across the way is eroding faster than anything. So it's putting way more sand into the system uncontrollably, if you will.
on both sides.
Both sides, yeah. So I did look at what Mr. McCormack presented, and he presented 2 LiDAR profiles and very rough calculations. I scaled off of his
I noticed.
his graph. What?
Never mind.
I will say best available data. CZM doesn't do shoreline transects up here or anything, so you really don't know. It's really a guess. It's an educated.
Yeah, same thing.
So I'd scaled off of this, and I come up with the difference in the profile in 10 years is about 3 feet, give or take. The horizontal distance is 10 feet, give or take, and it's over, I said 130 feet, 136 feet of shoreline That works out to 151 cubic yards in 10 years, so 15 yards a year. It isn't a huge amount.
There we go.
I know, there we go.
Yeah, that was the data provided. That's
It
what
isn't
I'm
a huge
looking for.
amount. My personal opinion, as me, you know, in my experience on the river, my personal opinion is I don't see that, I see that sand going somewhere else that is gonna hurt another area. However, if that's what the regulations and that's what makes you feel comfortable, now the question is how do you get it there? And do you do it every year? Which is kind of a pain in the butt for this location. Sand basically would have to be, well, when they fill the bulkhead and they do the filling of the scarps and all that, the project to the south, he used a conveyor system, snaked it through the yard, and then moved it over as he did, catapulted it over the bank and raked it out. Okay, that's fine for one time. That was 200 yards that he used to fill that. That is a royal pain in the butt to do every year. And to try to do it from a barge is probably even worse.
Can there be a trigger point that is hit? So if it goes below a certain point, that nourishment is added. So it might not need to be every year, but maybe it's every 2 or 3 years or whatever it might be.
So I could set a trigger point based on the 15 yards. Based on the 15 yards a year, I could figure out, I could almost do it now, but I don't want to take up the time. I could figure out like a 3-year drop based on 15 yards, and that could be the trigger point. And then you know at that point you got to put 45 yards, and that might give you the squeeze for the juice or the juice for the squeeze, or
Well,
it might make it worth it.
given that we don't know what the storms are going to be like and so forth, and the increasing height of water with climate change, which
Yeah.
I keep bringing up, that seems like a 3-year, I think that would be an appropriate kind of thing to do, to just that 3-year monitoring.
And I wouldn't do it now. I would wait until the beach
Yeah.
drops, because maybe the beach doesn't drop. We don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I like a trigger point as
Yeah.
far as
That's what, yeah.
nourishment goes, for those exact reasons, that you're not over-nourishing, but it hits that trigger point to say, hey, we need some more nourishment here
To
to
establish
maintain
that
our...
you need monitoring, which goes back
Yes.
to Brittany's concern. Yeah.
I've always liked trigger points because it more closely mimics the natural erosion process, and it's not just willy-nilly blind putting sand on the beach or a certain amount that might not be enough. I've seen it go both ways, where
Yep. Yep.
you haven't put enough or you put too much. So I love trigger points.
Why don't we make a motion to that effect?
Are we going to continue for the plan to be revised, or?
Yeah,
Modification.
Continue?
I think I would make a motion to continue for the for those revisions and
Yeah.
for the maintenance
Yeah.
plan,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark.
Sounds like a motion to me.
Yeah,
Second?
I'll second that.
All right, so we're going to continue, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can
And what date is that?
Is the 20th or the September
Yeah.
3rd? August 20th or September 3rd?
I know we already voted and all, but I kind of look at this as a lab, sort of a lab experiment, like, because looking at the third-party review, Mark did implement as best he could, and then the third-party review said then you need to monitor the fiber rolls. I think he's did all that, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Okay. What do you want, Mark? The
Oh.
20th or September?
20th.
August 20th.
Did Bradford made that motion?
I made the motion.
Did it get seconded? Did I second it?
I think you seconded it.
I'll second.
And we
I think I
voted
did.
on it?
You can confirm via tape.
Voted, right? Okay, unanimous?
Yes.
Yep.
I don't think I actually said aye, but aye.
Yeah, we know it's over. Okay. All right,
So just the plan revision, tiny note that I made was just to take the beach grass off the fiber roll detail.
What do you want to plant it with then?
Lynn provided a planting plan. It's just on your site plan. It just contradicts with this planting plan.
Just say sea mitigation plan.
We good with that?
Yeah, he's got the next one too.
All right, so I take that off, trigger point for 3 years, maintenance plan notes on the plan, and add the work limit.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, Ellie. That goes by myself and the other engineer that stamps the plan, and you catch it all. And I appreciate that. I kind of bust you a little bit, but
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I appreciate it.
I have no life, yeah,
I
okay.
appreciate it.
Were you a teacher in a previous life?
No, I worked in construction for 30 years.
Oh.
Commercial building, though.
You must have reviewed a lot of things, because you're very good at it. And I
Thank
mean that
you.
as a compliment.
Thank you.
Mayflower will be next, yeah.
Okay,
Mayflower is
Not
next.
signing this
Good.
though.
Not yet.
not yet?
So we continued, so we're Mayflower is next. We don't sign.
Mayflower's next. Blue Rock Road.
Nothing to sign here.
We just did Blue Rock Road. We just did Blue Rock Road, but we continued it, so we don't need to sign it.
You pass it down though.
Sure, yeah, get rid of it.
It's getting heavy.
Which one is?
Pass that down.
Oh,
Just to
okay.
put it in the
Yeah,
pile.
just put it on the pile. I'm not familiar with what happens at the end of the road here.
Gets piled up.
It gets piled up.
We're almost through this.
Yes, we are, aren't we?
All right, and then we have,
Mayflower Terrace.
Mayflower.
SE 832540, Shorefront Consulting for Jason and Tina.
Here's one.
143 Mayflower Terrace, proposed reconstruction of a seawall, further landward, a new fiber roll array in riverfront area, coastal beach, coastal bank, and land subject to coastal storm flowage.
Mark Burgess again for the Lilies. Another bulkhead project.
Yeah.
I feel like a broken record, but, so this one, everyone's a little bit different. This one was actually approved as previous, it was approved previously to put the bulkhead back exactly where it is now. And that was approved as part of the dock rebuilding project. The applicant chose not to do it for whatever reason, and now would like to do it. And I think in that time frame, the beach has probably eroded back another foot or so behind the wall. Yeah, it's not doing anything.
It's not.
So this proposal moves the new bulkhead, the replacement bulkhead, no higher than that one, whatever, I know what elevation it is, but no higher than that, and it moves it as far landward as possible. Lynn provided a planting plan that includes plants along the top of the bulkhead. And then at the southern end, yes, so the north end there where I put the stakes, so that, the bulkhead there is supposed to go behind those rocks. Those rocks are actually on the applicant's property. Okay, be as it may, but but the bulkhead would go behind them, not in front of them, and just keep the rocks there. So that's your kind of transitional return on the north end. On the south end, there is some erosion there. Over the years, I think I've been with this property for, close to 8 or 10 years. That hasn't gotten extremely worse, but it's still there, and eventually it's going to cause, as we say all the time, it's going to cause slippage, you're going to lose bank stabilization and plants that are already there and all that. So you want to button it up before it gets too far. So what's proposed from that stake to the, well, maybe one more stake, but to the orange stake that you can see to the far left is a fiber roll return. Let me see how long it is, I forgot. Twenty feet. And the bulkhead is probably a good, more than 20 feet. The bulkhead stops more than 20 feet from the property line. The bulkhead's in the same footprint that it is now, except we add an angled return at the end of it. So technically not really expanding the bulkhead, and we're moving it landward. And then we're dealing with the fiber roll south of it. So we're not proposing a bulkhead all the way across. Other than that, it's kind of it's very similar to so many other projects that we've done recently. So I guess I'm going to stop there. Same protocols are in place. Lynn provided the planting plan. My detail shows beach grass and the fiber rolls as I'm looking at it, if Brittany caught that, so that may need to be changed. Other than that, I'll just open it to questions.
Okay, all right. Any comments from anybody?
The only thing I had a comment on was, I don't know how else to say, a technical term here. You squished up the bulkhead as much as you could, but you still require fill. I'm looking at the detail. Fill and scarp behind wall with compatible material and plant with American beach grass. So do you have, I think you do. Do you have a quantity of how much fill you need to bring in?
I think I estimated, it's not a lot.
I couldn't find it either. That was one of my questions too.
If you look down right above section AA elevation, it says proposed fill behind bulkhead is 5+ cubic yards. A very small amount.
Section.
And that's more or less based on AutoCAD. So AutoCAD's an approximation.
Calculated from the contours, yeah.
Oh, it's at the bottom.
I
see.
what I do is I draw what's called a polyline on the section of the area that I want to fill. And then that's an area.
Yeah,
I get square foot, and I multiply it by the length,
yeah.
get a volume. It's as simple as that. And it's an estimate, but it's pretty small.
I don't see it. Where is it?
It's below the detail in just like its own row.
There.
Right above section AA elevation at the bottom of the plan.
Okay, well, I'm looking at a different one.
And the proposed cover over the fiber rolls is 5 cubic
Looking at an
yards.
old-
And that's initial.
Sorry?
It's just once at the beginning.
Now, yeah, it needs to be maintained. Think of how much we learn through all these as we go through the process.
Think of how many different color inks you have because of us. It's like,
Well, my plotter will plot in any color in the palette, but I love using color because it really helps. A lot of guys still do things in black and white, don't they?
Anybody else with a question or comment?
So, yeah, I guess would be the same kind of comments as keeping the fiber roll array covered with nourishment. Or is that what the 5 cubic yards is?
and that's fill behind.
I-
And that's fill
What
behind
did
the
Lynn have to say on this one?
cover with compatible soil.
She kind of has her maintenance down on the lower left-hand corner.
Oh, you have the same conflict. Or am I looking at the wrong one? The same conflict on what you're covering the rolls
Yeah.
with, yeah.
Yeah. I
So
caught-
that's noted. So
You're right when you say refer to planning, but you have to erase the beach grass comment, whatever.
Yeah, over on the fiber roll detail. I'll just say refer to planting plan.
Yeah, just say that.
yeah, let's get rid of the loam, right? Shouldn't it just be sand?
Yeah, this was back when I used to be able to do these things, and I can't do it anymore.
Yes.
I'm not allowed to do it anymore.
Where's mean high water? Is this mean high? Yeah.
The blue line.
Oh, they're way low. If we're, let me look at the bank again. Do you know why Lynn said loam and sand over the fiber rolls instead of just sand? Is just to get the plantings established for the beginning
Where did she say that?
on her planting plan.
There's no on their planting plan.
If it's less than like a quarter loam, I guess that's fine. But there's no amount.
Where does she say?
It says to cover the fiber rolls with a mix of loam and sand.
Okay.
Um,
My plan showed 5 yards over the fiber rolls.
yeah.
I thought the 5 yards was
It's both.
Thought that was
5 yards over the fiber rolls and
Oh,
5
that's-
yards for the
yeah, for
bulkhead.
both.
Those are both at the bottom, because I remember you were asking for that while
Yeah,
we're-
in a
Oh,
note.
right, 5 and
You.
5, yeah, sorry. It's-
All right.
Yeah, here
This
and
plan's
there.
been revised like 3 times since before it got to you guys, so.
Looked at a lot of bulkheads lately, so I
Say again?
We've had a look at a lot of them.
said looked at a lot of bulkheads. So I was just pulling your leg.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? I haven't gotten to Dennis yet.
So this site, it's up to the commission if you want a similar maintenance plan. There's more sand source all over, so just keeping the rolls covered may be fine at the site, as opposed to the other site where there's all bulkheads up and down the river. There's sand, there's some marsh, some sand, some marsh, some sand across the way. So I think just keeping them covered might be sufficient here
Thank you, thank
with
you.
regular sand. And so, yeah,
Okay with that.
Yeah.
If everyone
We're
else
good?
is.
Yeah, you have to correct your note 6 too. If you go into detail about the cover there. Anyways.
So take out the planted, I'm gonna say in accordance with the planting plan.
For the planning plan.
I think there was a few spots. If you could just scour it. I referenced 3 spots, but I didn't say where they were.
Say that again?
There's just make sure you don't mention beach grass or planting shrubs or anything because it's already provided. And in this detail too.
It was there on the fiber roll detail.
In the note and in the section.
down there.
Yeah. So there's
proposed
4
beach grass
spots.
planting area.
I'm just gonna say refer to planting plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I got you.
I don't have any other questions.
So 2 details, refer to planting plan, note number 6, take out, and planted in accordance with the planting plan, take out the beach grass. And
And if you could just add a note.
maintenance notes for the fiber rolls on the plan.
Yeah.
I can do that.
So do we need to continue this in order to receive that was correction?
I don't think so.
Have a motion then?
I move that we approve this project pending planned revisions as discussed.
I'll check, go for it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so this one's approved.
Pardon?
Yeah,
This one's approved.
Yeah.
you
Yes.
can go forward.
That's one
Pending
hearing. One hearing.
You weren't expecting it.
No,
Well, to be
think
fair-
this one was more straightforward than the others because it was already sort of done before, but yeah, I'm very happy about that. I will work on that plan
You have a coastal.
sometime between now and the weekend, and I'll get you a draft PDF to take a look at if you want. Or I just.
You
or I just-
can. No, yeah, for this one, that's fine.
Yeah.
I am not able to review plans like that before the hearings.
Oh, yeah, I know. No, I'll do it.
I know I've done it in the past because I've had time, but I have no time.
I have no time. Well, welcome to my world. So I'll do the revisions as soon as I can. This is the surveyor that's off Cape,
Okay,
so I have to work with him to get an original.
stamp.
Yeah.
Where'd you find the landscaper?
Lynn?
Lynn?
Oh, okay. I thought she was someone new. I don't know.
Now, Lynn's been a consultant, or she's been doing this kind of work 10 years longer than me. She used to work for Down Cape. I used to work for Coastal Engineering. And
Small world.
we went out, we all know each other, and we all work together. And so Lynn does things that I don't, and I do things that she doesn't, and the 2 of us, we can do darn near anything. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
It's Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
And
Okay.
I hope I wasn't overstepping when I spoke on the other project, but
I think you helped.
No, I think you helped and you provided a very clear and concise summary of where we were thinking of heading.
Yeah.
it was
that
for,
we
yeah.
couldn't articulate, but yeah,
Yeah.
having you articulate
Framed it
was
for
very
us.
helpful.
Yeah.
and it was for their benefit too, because I know they're not gonna mow again, and they weren't getting that. It's like, your dog can poop there until the grass is about this high, and
Yeah.
after that, they're gonna have to
You
leave.
can say that, but we can't.
Okay. Other business?
I have quick other businesses. The wetland regulations proposed updates.
On the approval of minutes first, or
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, you could do that.
let's do that first?
Was everyone here?
I think so.
What's this you
Ah,
want?
thank you.
Minutes, we're talking minutes?
Oh,
Jack?
I kind of did.
yeah, unless anybody's made changes they want to tell us about,
No. All
approve, I have,
You move.
right, we have a motion to approve, seconded.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Thank you, Jack.
Okay, the quick other business. The Wetlands Protection Act regulations are proposed to be updated. There's hearings on August 10th at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. If you want to listen in, I will provide a list of the updates and changes. Probably not before the hearing, but I'm also on the board for the Association of Mass Wetland Scientists, and we're preparing a comment letter, and I'll distribute that to you guys as well, so you have an idea of at least what's going on and what other people think about it.
Is that a Zoom link? Didn't they send a Zoom link?
There was an information session last week about it, and now there's 2 public hearings, so a lot of the same stuff will probably be said, but they have to have these public hearings when they're proposing new regulations. We have a new member starting next meeting, and we had discussed doing a working meeting. We'll have to reach out to schedule. We've had lots of ideas from Ellie for some regulation updates, and I think we should all take a look at the template of special conditions that I use, so you guys know what actually goes in the orders when we talk about everything, because there's some kind of standards that go in there no matter what.
I can't believe you used to read them out loud. Pat said
Yeah,
you
yeah.
used to read them. The meetings must have taken longer.
Yeah, that was, they read the numbers, but yeah, that was long. The last thing, NHESP has revised their maps, and they are open for public comment through October 4th, so we have a lot longer for that one.
You said FEMA?
NHESP.
Oh,
So there are some changes, significant changes in Yarmouth that we'll have to look at, and I think we should provide them a comment letter from the commission. The natural heritage, so the endangered species, habitats.
Species, okay.
I think they took away some from some of the ponds and added some from some marsh and pond areas. So those taking away them would have some good impacts. So we should take a look at those.
You mean as a national, like this is from a national?
This is the Massachusetts state endangered.
You said nationally, okay. I got it.
Yeah, because now
State,
this federal
state.
doesn't recognize habitat.
Okay. Okay, well, good. Yep, just state. Good.
So there's a couple of things coming up that we should review as a commission, and we'll probably try and have a working meeting, so probably like 4 or 5 at some evening that's not a Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Motion, oh, go ahead, Joshua.
No. Well, yes. We approved signs like months ago, and I was at one of our conservation sites, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, yes.
Yes.
So kudos to Brittany.
Oh, the sign.
Yay, the signs are in. We put wetlands and vernal pool signs at 12 locations around town with tourism funds. They're nice signs. They've got like a frog or a wetland on them and say conservation sensitive habitat, do not disturb, no dumping. Because we put them strategically, one of them we put in a pile of debris because we chose strategic places that people were dumping. Yeah. And Joe put those in with the help of the Natural Resources Division.
Speaking of signs, on Thatcher, there's no signs.
There is a sign.
Sign?
Oh, there's.
I don't know.
I need to replace
Go
that
by
sign.
Old
But you have to go by
Thatcher?
Old Kings Highway.
The,
The
what-
one we were just talking
what we looked at tonight, I didn't,
Oh, there's no sign at that one.
oh, okay.
But there's the sign here. So if you go up Thatcher Street, there's like a wooden sign saying like,
What's it say, don't dump here?
no, it's like a big conservation sign, but it's set back a little. So, and it's wood, so it blends in a bit. That one's a little old, but I think the neighborhood likes it because it like blends in.
Okay.
All right. I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.